Hello, I'm Dr. Leah Frei from Forest Grove Veterinary Clinic, and I'm here today to answer some of your questions about acupuncture in cats.
Dr. Frei, what is cat acupuncture and how does it work?
So, acupuncture is the insertion of some very small needles into the body at specific points in order to create a healing effect. And it does that by influencing the nervous system, as well as influencing pain centers and muscles throughout your cat's body.
What conditions or health issues can acupuncture treat in cats?
So we can treat a lot of different kinds of conditions with acupuncture. Specifically with cats, the things that I most commonly would treat would be things that cause pain in the muscles and joints, issues with the nervous system, so spinal cord injuries, things like that, as well as urinary tract problems.
Is acupuncture safe for cats?
It's very safe. Because we're just using sterile needles that are very, very fine, the likelihood that there's going to be any injuries or pain afterwards is very, very small.
How do I know if my cat is a good candidate for acupuncture?
So it would be best to just talk to your veterinarian about it to see whether or not acupuncture might be good for your cat and whether or not your cat might be a good candidate. Most pets, as long as they're tolerant of being in the clinic and tolerant of having things like vaccines or other injections, are usually good candidates for acupuncture.
How do I ask my vet about starting feline acupuncture?
So all you do is start that conversation. Let your veterinarian know that you've got some concerns about your pet and that you're wondering whether or not acupuncture for your cat might be appropriate.
What should I expect during a feline acupuncture session?
So when your cat comes in for acupuncture, first we get you settled into the room, and then we start to ask some specific questions about your cat, their history, their previous medical conditions, and specifically what brings you in on that date and what you're hoping to gain from treatment. Once that part is done, then we'll do a physical exam specifically pertaining to the muscles and joints as well as the nervous system. Once that part has been done, then we'll do the actual treatment itself. And depending on the pet and the condition that they're dealing with, we may put in 2 needles, we may put in 20 needles, and we allow those needles to sit ideally for 20 minutes. But sometimes our little kitties don't have that much patience, and so sometimes we only get a 5-minute treatment. The good news is that regardless how many needles or the length of time, often we can see a good healing benefit.
What should I do if my cat is anxious about the acupuncture treatment?
So anxiety starts at home. And so we think, first off, most of our kitties are indoor only cats. And so the only time they are in the car is when they come to the vet, which can be a scary place. And so first thing we can do is get them used to being in the carrier. And if your pet is anxious with travel, we can use pheromone sprays, which might be able to help reduce the anxiety in the car, as well as specific medications. And you should definitely ask your veterinarian about the best way to keep your pet calm during travel and during their appointment in the clinic.
Are there different types of acupuncture techniques used in cats?
There's actually a lot of different kinds of acupuncture techniques. Some involve burning certain substances above the acupuncture points or injection of medications into acupuncture points. Here at Forest Grove Vet Clinic, we specifically use the needles as well as something called electroacupuncture, where we use a little bit of electrical stimulation between 2 different points on the body to kind of get a longer duration of effect and a better effect, particularly in pets that have neurologic conditions.
How many acupuncture sessions will my cat need?
So the number of acupuncture sessions really depends on your pet as well as the disease process that's going on. For something like a simple strain or sprain, sometimes 1 or 2 treatments may be enough in order to help your pet feel better. For more chronic conditions, particularly things like disc problems where your pet is having difficulty walking, or chronic issues like arthritis, often we need to do at least 3 to 6 treatments before we will see the best benefit.
How long does a typical acupuncture session last?
So the treatment itself, we usually will have the needles in for about 20 minutes, but from the time that you arrive until the time that you go home, if it is your first visit, we would recommend budgeting an hour of your time, and follow-up visits usually are 30 to 40 minutes.
What are the potential benefits of acupuncture for my cat?
So for cats, some of the best benefits we can see from acupuncture are improvements in their pain. Cats are very, very prone to arthritic conditions, and we can see arthritis in pets that are really, really young, 4 or 5 years of age. And so acupuncture can really help with pain. It can also be very helpful with things like neurologic conditions, so nerves that aren't functioning properly or difficulties walking.
Are there any risks or side effects associated with cat acupuncture?
So the good news is that acupuncture is very, very safe. Again, because we're just using fine little needles, there's minimal risks involved. Because we are putting a needle into the skin, there is always a potential that there might be a bit of soreness afterwards, or we may occasionally, as we pull the needle out, may see a small blood drop. More significant potential risks would be if a needle breaks off underneath the skin, although we do have ways to prevent that, or if your pet tries to eat one of the needles, which we also have ways to prevent that as well.
Are there any cats who shouldn't undergo an acupuncture session?
So the kitties that I think of most that aren't very suitable for acupuncture are cats that are really frightened in the clinic, particularly ones that are not tolerant of touch or needles, because these are pets where the benefit of acupuncture may not outweigh the amount of fear or discomfort they experience in the clinic.
Can acupuncture help with behavioral issues in cats?
So acupuncture can do many, many things. From my perspective, I find that acupuncture is best at treating nerve conditions as well as pain. Although it may potentially have a behavior effect, there are other modalities that I think would have a stronger effect, unless part of the behavior concern is related to underlying discomfort.
Can acupuncture be used alongside other veterinary treatments?
Absolutely, acupuncture can be used alongside other veterinary treatments. I often will think of acupuncture as an adjunctive treatment, so one that I will use pain management and acupuncture at the same time, or other kinds of medication and acupuncture at the same time, so that we can get the best effect for your pet possible.
How should I prepare my cat for an acupuncture session?
So preparing your cat for an acupuncture session is the same as preparing your cat for coming to the vet clinic. So it starts at home. If your pet is fearful about being in the kennel, you're finding that you have to just wrestle them to get into the kennel, or they call out or cry when they're in the car, we want to make sure they feel calm and relaxed when they come into the clinic, because that's when they will feel the best benefit from acupuncture. And so if you're having any concerns at all about customizing your cat to the kennel or to the car rides, please reach out to your veterinarian.
How do I find a qualified veterinary acupuncturist for my cat?
So you get online and you search, and you want to look for someone who has a certification in veterinary acupuncture.
How much does cat acupuncture cost?
That's an excellent question, and I would recommend you call your local vet clinic to inquire about their prices.
What can I do at home to support my cat's acupuncture treatment?
So the best thing that you can do at home is make sure that your cat is really comfortable being in the carrier and very comfortable being in the car, because the best treatment that we can get for your pet will be if they're calm and relaxed in the clinic and without fear.
How can I tell if acupuncture is helping my cat?
So that's a great question, and it really depends on the reason why you brought your cat in for acupuncture. So for instance, if your pet is painful, you notice that they're moving slowly, they're having difficulties jumping, then what you'd be watching for is more ease with their movement. Maybe you will notice that your cat has only been able to jump up to this height, but after acupuncture, you notice that they're more easily able to jump onto a higher surface. Those would be the sort of things to monitor after your pet has acupuncture. If you have questions about acupuncture in cats, please give Forest Grove Veterinary Clinic a call at 306-955-6111. We're always here to help you.